For me, I've been a big fan of the weather my whole life. Growing up as a kid, Twister was my favorite movie, and so I heard about this movie, this natural disaster tornado movie called Category 6, which is what the original title was called. And when I read the script, I was like, oh my God, I gotta go in. They sent me in, I went and met the casting director. It's all handheld, right? And I originally went in for one of the other roles. I was too old, Max.
Oh, really?
So, yeah,
oh, yeah.
I looked too old at the time. So, but they liked what I did. I came back and met the director, reading the same role. I kind of just grabbed the camera off the casting director's stand and just started filming myself going around the whole room and kind of filming everybody. And just because it's a handheld found footage movie, I got really involved with it. They love what I did, so I go and I'm in the middle of working on a show called The Glades for a couple weeks. And I got a call and said, hey, so they're making an offer to you. I'm like, what? I thought I was too old. And he goes, no, they've written a new role in for you called Jacob, who is actually a tornado chaser. When he said tornado chaser, I just completely forgot about the other role because I wanted to play a tornado chaser anyway. So in my head, I kind of got what I wanted and I was very happy about it. So.
Yeah, I think for me it was an opportunity to do an action movie and like Jeremy was saying, to drive a kick-ass storm-chasing vehicle and run around and play with explosions and fire. I'm a young boy at heart, I guess, so I just enjoyed the opportunity to go in for something like that. So, and the story was neat because it is three disparate storylines. It's sort of, because of this emergency, they intersect. And my character, Pete, starts out as kind of an a-hole, and by the end of it, I think he's sort of redeemed. So that's always interesting as an actor to have a little bit of built-in change.
So this movie is, I feel like, what you will do when you got that situations. So Jacob's character freaked out first, then he kind of tried to do his best because of Pete kind of
whipped him. Pete whipped him, yeah, Pete whipped him.
In the sense, Jacob was
Your blood is on my hands.
It is.
And the Pete character is he ended up, so a good guy doing good things for the people, but he also desperate want to see what's in the tornado. So how about yourself? If the things happen, so you guys kind of freaked out or more
like in an emergency?
Yeah.
I think I would be much less. What I relate to in Pete is obsession. I have been obsessed with things in my life. Like I have pursued things single-mindedly, and other parts of my life have fallen apart, especially when I was a younger man, be they alcohol or fame or whatever I was chasing. And then, so that part I relate to Pete, being single-minded. And I think Pete's obsessed because of financial reasons, because of his career starting to tail. He's worried about he's never going to get it, and he built this vehicle that took him so long to build. This is the summer, he's got to get it. The part, I think I would chicken out. I think I would probably never leave the Titus. I would never go outside to adjust. I would probably send someone out like Jeremy's character to do those things.
Jacob would have to do it.
Yeah, go ahead.
If Jacob didn't do it, he gets whipped.
Yeah.
He gets whipped.
You wouldn't get paid.
He gets his hand tied to a pole. There,
you wouldn't get to party in like South Padre.
No. My character is a guy who's just new to this, right? He just came in. He's a rookie, and his buddy, Daryl brings him on board as just an extra cameraman, and Pete kind of takes him under his wing in the sense that okay, I got this guy who I'm going to boss around and make and hound him to get the shot. And so, but it turns out, he gets more than what he had hoped, what he bargained for when he came on board, and that's kind of Jacob. He's just a kid who's just new to the thing. And
so, in an emergency, would you be as daring as Jacob?
Well, I've been through a tornado when I was a kid. It came to my home, and I actually looked outside my window and saw the trees going down like this, back and forth, and I yelled at my teacher, said, Miss Jackson, I think there's a tornado or something coming. And she didn't believe me, and 5 minutes later on the radio, there's a tornado outside, coming through our school, so we had to all go into the hallway. So, knowing that, would I run outside the tank?
Like, would you get that close outside of a vehicle to film something?
Oh yeah.
You would?
Yeah. One of the things I would have loved to do to promote this movie is the show Storm Chasers.
Yeah.
I watch that show all the time. So I thought I'm hoping to maybe talk to the publicist or something, say, hey, why don't you set me up for like a cameo appearance, celebrity version of the Storm Chasers to run into the storm, and then we go with those guys and film a tornado, because that would be amazing. So I'm the guy that would love to do that, you know?
Like a kind of Pete-ish.
Yeah. Well, no, not Pete. No, I'm not an a-hole.
That's fair. That's not me. That's not fair.
No, it's not Matt Walsh. He's
It's
the
not Matt
opposite.
Walsh. It's not Matt Walsh.
It's totally dream come true.
Obviously, you are a fan of tornadoes. Like, did you do any research before going into this?
Well, I too grew up in Kentucky's not the Midwest, but is it the Midwest?
It gets its
It's the
tornado.
South.
It's there's Tornado Alley and stuff.
Yeah.
The bottom left tip of Kentucky kind of goes into it.
Yeah, touches Illinois. I grew up in Chicago, and the same thing. Every summer, inevitably, I feel like 2 or 3 times every summer, you would hear that eerie siren that goes off, and it feels like it fills the whole county. Like it just goes everywhere, and then there's a certain like static electricity in the air that I remember as a child, and there's an odd green hue or something different, and you just feel that.
Yeah.
It's quite terrifying.
It starts turning yellow outside.
And of course, you see all the thunderstorms and the winds and things like that before the actual funnel cloud comes through. So we, many times this summer, were terrified of tornadoes, but fortunately, I was never in the path. But neighboring towns were hit by them quite often in Joliet and some of the suburbs of Chicago where I grew up. So I've seen several funnel clouds as a kid too. They're cool if you know they're like 2 towns over. But they're scary as hell if you know it's coming your way.
Hold on. I'm sorry, I have to apologize. I just keep thinking of your character on Veep.
So how in Veep?
No. No, the scene where your character goes into the
Yes.
tornado. How, not to give away too much, but how did they did that? It was kind of a cool
How did they
shot.
execute that? Well, it was
Yeah.
completely in a studio, not to disappoint you. The elements that were there were, I know, I'm sorry. The elements that were there there were several stages. Like all the shots, like inevitably took 2 or 3 phases to shoot. But inside that, when Pete has his finale thing there, just green screen everywhere. Lights, there was rain and wind, obviously always, people with bags of leaves throwing them in the fans, and then there was one section where they had the vehicle anchored in the front, but a giant crane was swinging the back of the vehicle around like that, like crazy, so that's basically how they shot it.
I mean, the look on, I mean, it's all acting, of course, but the look on your face was really interesting, the motion.
Yes. Well, it's a neat moment to play because of where it is in Pete's life, right before it maybe ends. We don't know that, but it is neat to play that moment because it is like what he's been chasing, to see what he describes as the eye of God, the face of God, rather, is a neat thing to play.
So mostly the tornado scene or storm scene is nothing, and they pull the rain, or you guys
Always.
have kind
No,
of
they-
a waiting
every
They
rain
had
moment, or
They had this weather magician, so they would have him on walk every day. So when we started rolling, he would call in the clouds, and the clouds would come in and generate all this wind.
Sorcerer, I think he's a weather sorcerer.
Yeah, he's a weather sorcerer. He's you don't want to talk to him. You don't look him in the eyes. He's really weird, but
Fortunately,
got
he
the job
lived
done.
in Michigan, which was great for us.
No, we had days where it was just sunshine. It was beautiful out. And, and we're supposed to be running through a tornado. They had these big giant rigs that held up these big, sun blockers is what I call them. These big curtain things that were, when you lined 3 of them up, it was the size of a football field that covered the whole town of shade. I never seen anything like it, by the way. They were awesome, and they shaded up a huge area. And then they put the wind and the rain in there, and we shot. Obviously we were, when we'd wait for hours sometimes for clouds to come in. Every little cloud that came in, roll the camera.
Yeah.
How long was the production? I mean,
We were in
4 months.
Michigan, yeah,
4
3,
months.
4 months.
And what was it like seeing the finished product?
Oh, it's crazy. It blew me away.
Yeah, because so much of what we were interacting with, 50% of it wasn't there. You know, we had each other, so the scenes where it's just us and you could always react off your other actors, that was great. But a lot of it, you're just imagining like eye line. We're just trying to agree on eye lines and things like
where
that.
the tornado's at.
Yeah, and then
There was
the
that moment
running.
we had four or five tornadoes all around us.
Yeah,
So we were like,
yeah,
you remember that?
yeah. That was insane.
And
So it was neat to see it come together.
What did it feel like going through a fire tornado?
It was hot. They gelled me up. They put the fireproof stuff all over me, and then off I went into the fire tornado. Now they had this thing where they had the tornado tears through this big gas tank. It explodes up, just bursts into a ball of fire. I'm right there when it happens. My camera gets, I'm filming all this, and then I turn to, get away. The camera gets knocked out of my hand by some debris, and I want to press Pete, so I go after it. Because I knew I got a shot that he would love, and I'm going after it, and I can't get to it. It's too hot, and I go, and just too powerful, overcomes me and sucks me up in the tornado. So it's cool. They drive me across the ground for about 25 feet, and then up I go about 40 feet.
Wow.
So just screaming as I go up, and then when you watch the movie, you just see me going up.
So it's a Peter Pan experience kind of help.
Yeah, the
These
wire work was great.
works,
Yeah, I did a year of wire work on that film, so it's like for me, it's like riding a bike. When you do, it's like you'll always remember it, and you'll always kind of be there, and you'll always feel comfortable doing it.
Yeah, we were saying that he always, after the stunt was over, he always came down almost like Peter Pan. Whenever it was like cut, they would drop Jeremy down, and he just naturally would kind of like.
I'm up there screaming, cut.
Yeah, almost like a ballet.
How many takes?
Huh?
How many takes did you?
I personally asked him to do a couple more for me because it was just a lot of fun. I remember we did like 4 or 5 takes of being actually sucked up. But then there were times where they just kind of drug me, and then not suck me up. So they do a different angle. Then they suck me up. So when we did that, I want to do as many takes as I want as possible. But we were moving along that day, so about 4 or 5 takes. That was it.
Kind of comparing traditionally, like this is a lot of found footage. Like, how was that experience different? And are you credited as a cameraman in the movie?
When you see the credits at the end of the film, no, you will not see my name there. You will see the actual cameraman there. Unfortunately, I wish I could say I shot those amazing shots, but I'm filming. When you see me filming, you see me film. But then when you're going through my point of view, it's DP and the camera guys, because I'm an actor, so I'm not a cameraman.
So, but what is there anywhere to see the films that you actually shot? Is just green screen, probably.
Well, there were hard mounted cameras like in the Titus, the vehicle we drove. So we were always like making sure that was rolling. There was a couple inside, and I think there might be pieces of those set cameras, or the cameraman would say, "Would you turn that on?" And then I think some of the stuff we might have messed around in the vehicle. Just
when I'm telling you about the vehicle stuff, they
Yeah.
actually had me film some of that. That's right, where I had my camera, and it's like me filming Pete doing his interview about the Titus.
Yeah. So there's always a camera, and Lee always had a camera. So there might be that stuff somewhere, but I don't know how much of it ended up in the movie actually.
It was a real camera on certain times, and then when it was raining and hardcore stuff, it was this plastic like rubber type camera. But during those times we were using the real camera, I actually did record it. It would record. They put tape in there for me. And so I don't know how much of the stuff they used, but I did film a lot of stuff, whether it was used or not.
So are you ready for Into the Storm 2?
Yes, it's gonna be In the Storm takes on Sharknado 3.
You and I, can we be in it? We could.
Yeah,
We don't know.
Since Sharknado's come back, we can come back. They put her pieces together.
I want to see Sharktopus versus Terracuda.
There you go. Yeah, I heard that was coming out. I want to do Sharknado 3, right? It's in New Orleans, so it's like a swamp tornado meets the ocean tornado, and so there's alligator tornadoes